Welcome to Married AF. We are your hosts, Brooke and Randall Fowler. On this show, we discuss the topics that really matter.
Like big veiny cocks and our favorite TV shows.
So pull up a chair at our kitchen table and hang out.
While I bulldog my nuts. Hello,
Howdy.
dick-sucking assholes.
Were you over there taking selfies of
No,
yourself?
I was trying to see if there's any way to get a angle with the good light for my abs, but
Yeah, that could look naughty. You're sitting there shirtless while we're podcasting, and you would just see your nakedness.
exactly.
Nobody would even know that you have underpants on. If
No,
you do.
And speaking of underpants, I need you to address our buddy John at Brandex Podcast, who we love, and his shows. Their show that they just released today was a great show.
It was. Should we do our shot first, though?
I listened to it this morning. Sure.
All right, let's get this shit out of the way. All right. Cheers, baby.
Suck me. Hate the shot so bad. Hurts me.
Why was mine twice as much as yours?
Yours is a tall, skinny glass. Mine's a big, thicky, like my cock.
I mean, allegedly. All right, hang on. God, we're weak pussies with shots.
It's not the vodka taste, though.
No.
It's that horrible Midori.
Okay, so John from Brandex. Wait, oh.
Just a gnat flying.
Oh. So the picture of Randall from 4th of July, he mentioned it on his podcast. I like what he did with it. He used it to like troll somebody or something.
Which I'm all for.
Which is fantastic. Kudos. Glad we could assist. But you said something about Randall having like a chub or like a half salute.
A semi.
There you go. Whatever the terminology was that he used. As a matter of fact, he did not. I even said something when I went to take the picture of him. I was like, your dong looks gigantic, and because the shorts have like a pocket right in the front. And he had the holster kind of pushing. It was all just very accentuated, but no, I didn't like fluff him before the picture or anything. Nor did he fluff himself.
No.
He's just that endowed.
Huge. I'm huge.
He's
John.
a large man with a nice, large Coke can.
I'm going to be honest. It's thick, John. It's a thick.
It's more than John ever wanted to know about.
But what I want to know about Brandex, and I need John to tell me, is they're the best. I mean, they give us shout outs all the time, and we've given John all the praise he deserves because he's been great to us. But every time we make their, podcast that we like part of their show, I've never heard Deuces say a word.
Deuce, not deuces.
I got a poo. That's what I was saying. But no, I've never heard Deuce chime in. John would be like,
no, because Deuce
Married
doesn't
as
listen.
Fuck with Brooke and Randall.
And he always has
I really loved their show. This past week, they did this, and I've never heard Deuce chime in once. But I think he hates us.
He definitely has no input.
No, or I don't think he hates us, but I don't think he's
zero opinion.
Listened.
Yeah,
I don't think he
hasn't listened, which is fine.
Totally fine.
But I mean, come on, Deuce. We listen to you.
I love Deuce. I've told you flat out. Dude is my shit.
He's hilarious. He was part of that whole conversation on Facebook too.
Yeah.
I know you listened to their episode too. So I didn't know that was him. But I remember looking at that conversation like, oh, good Lord. Come on.
That dude and me, I love him. I agree with him on almost all of his stances. And I don't know.
Y'all are lockstep on your opinions for most things.
I enjoy the shit out of him. But yeah, no stiffy, John.
No, there wasn't. It's just all man.
Yeah.
My lucky girl.
And
the nipples cut out of the shirt was the extra little bonus of that.
Yeah, it was. But we've got an interesting show tonight. We're excited to release this one. We had Eros and Isis from
Priory Society.
Thank you. Priory Society podcast. They are a married and loving couple.
They are married as fuck, but they just happen to also be swingers.
Yeah. I mean, and, you know, I'll try to be as honest as I can always. I definitely had some preconceived notions that were changed by them, and I know that, you know, you can't go off just one couple.
Not changed by like, hey, now we're thinking about being swingers.
I'm talking about my preconceived, ignorant,
just your opinion
thoughts of what I've known about swingers. Hell no, that's definitely not for me, and not for us personally. But I have no problem with anyone that is consenting and agree on it for their marriage. It's just all that. They're super fucking happy.
Yeah.
So who can argue?
And it has. That? I mean, it's enhanced their marriage, and. So, I mean, I think it's awesome.
And they're swimming in pussy and dicks. Yeah. So, I mean, there's not a whole lot you can argue with on that.
Works for them.
They're very safe. They're very, I mean, you'll hear all this straight from their mouth. They're very candid.
I was super impressed with them. Like how
enjoyed the shit out of them. I didn't, you know, because we don't know them well, I could have kept on talking for a long time, but I didn't want to hold them up. You never know the first time that you have a totally new guest on. I don't want to feel like we're, you know, ball hogging them. And
I mean, we did have a nice hour plus chat with them, but they were freaking awesome. But I could have
kept going, and they were, you know, there's a lot more to cover. Hope that they really do come back sometime. We can finish. Yeah,
and they both have fantastic voices. Like I could listen to them talk.
No,
that's why I really enjoy listening to their podcast. One of the reasons is just because their voices are amazing, and they're meant to do this kind of thing, and they're super knowledgeable, and it's very interesting, and they were super nice. We like them.
Yeah, and I think that you don't have to be interested in becoming a swinger or that lifestyle to enjoy this episode.
Just educate yourself.
And they're not, you know, trying to recruit swingers or anything like that. And I highly encourage everybody to check out their show. It's very well done. Like you said, they both sound great. And I feel like Eros could sell anything he fucking wanted.
Yeah.
That guy is a showman.
Yeah, he could.
He could sell you anything. Sell ketchup popsicle to an Eskimo.
That's what my first boss at.
Yeah, he's smooth.
That's what Scott Martin used to tell me. I love that one. Yes.
He's smooth. At one point, he had me, I was like, fuck, man. Just tell me what to do.
I know.
What do I do? So I imagine with the ladies, he's definitely very smooth, and his wife definitely says he is.
Yeah.
Seems very respectful, but what I liked was they just were straight up. There was no hesitation answering any questions.
And there's nothing that was off the table for asking them, you know, I mean, except for, you know, they like to keep their identity kind of on the down low, but I mean,
they addressed
but
that
as far as their lifestyle and everything, it was, you know, an open book. So, I mean, we really hope you enjoyed that conversation. I mean, we had a good time, and we hope to talk to them again. But
and check out their show.
Yeah, and check out their show. I need to put their links to their Twitter and stuff in the show notes, and they give all their contact info at the end as well. But we have pressing, important business.
Yeah, we got to talk Big Brother.
Yeah, it's been a week, and there's been a fucking lot. So the last episode we talked about Big Brother, that was 1 week ago, right?
Yeah,
1 week, and that was where we just kind of did our rundown and our
intro.
Of all the cast made our picks. My boy Tyler was the HOH for this past week. I think he did a phenomenal job. He did a very good puppet master job of letting everybody else kind of do his bidding, I think.
Mm-hmm. My concern for Tyler, though, is he has played his hand. Everyone knows how good he is. Doesn't matter that he's letting other people. He's created a very big web, and that doesn't mean I don't think he can go very far, because I think he can. He's super good, and he's got spoiler alert in 3, 2, 1. He got the Power app this week, so he picked the Cloud app So basically, he can remove himself from the block for update.
Are you going to give spoilers that you know that haven't aired to the like CBS?
I'm going to try not to.
Okay, don't do that.
Try to just go with things that have aired, but in case people aren't caught up.
Because we watch. Okay, we record
After Dark.
We record Big Brother After Dark, which is the 3 hours that just the live feeds are broadcast on the Pop channel. So anybody that's a Big Brother fan, if you don't already, do it. Set your DVR. It's from like 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. here or something crazy.
Midnight.
Okay. It's like 12:59, I thought.
No, it starts at 12:01.
Oh, okay. Whatever. Midnight to 2 a.m. or something. And it's just the live feeds. I mean, and a lot of the shit that we see on Big Brother After Dark is the stuff that they show on
the next
week's show. Like when they're, pulling little clips of stuff where they have to put the subtitles and everybody's whispering. A lot of that shit's stuff that you'll catch on Big Brother After Dark. But we also get to see ahead of time, watching that, you'll see who wins Power of Veto, because that person might be walking around with the veto around their neck. Or you hear them talking about who went up, like we knew who was up on the block before the episode last night because of watching all that. Randall takes it to another level, even a step further, and also is reading everything on Twitter from all the Big Brother related accounts. I'm not that dedicated. That's Randall's job, but he gets a lot of information from there too. So it's not anything that's, super secret that you can't find out, but anybody that just watches the broadcast show wouldn't.
I've got to say one thing.
You're going to spoil something.
I'm drunk.
From that one shot. I think these are double shots.
My whole body is warm.
Mine is too. Weird. My whole body's kind of tingly.
I'm drunk. From one.
Hammered.
From one shot.
I think these...
I don't know. I may have poured... I'm not drunk, but I am. But just like 30 seconds ago, I was like, I am warm.
No, it did. These shots do it like... It's a minute later, and then like some warmth goes through your whole body, like kind of tingly.
I feel stoned.
But yeah, no, I'm not drunk. But it definitely adds something to the multiple beers.
Yeah, so I have I do all the Big Brother Twitter feeds, all the gossip of Big Brother. I follow those, and
so we know a lot of shit.
I typically stay ahead, but try not to spoil that for you. But I stick by my...
so we can't tell you what's really cool.
I do have to tell one spoiler alert.
Why?
In 3, 2... And I don't know if it's a spoiler alert. I think it is. But everyone knows that Caitlin put up Winston and Scotty.
Right. That was on the show last night, yes. Yeah. And I think is doing a good job so far at being HOH on like playing both sides.
You won't think so soon.
Oh.
But so the target they've said all along, even on
Winston.
The show. No, it's Chris.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were talking about like who they were telling everybody the target was, like on the other side.
To backdoor him. So the hope is that someone on their side gets the veto, pulls Scotty down.
Correct.
Puts Chris up against Winston, and they vote him out by a majority.
Backdoor, yeah, because I mean, you'd have to backdoor Swaggy.
Yeah.
Chris.
And so.
Stupidest fucking name. Mm-hmm.
It's very possible that Tyler won the veto.
Why are you fucking saying shit like that?
I just said I'm going to give one tiny spoiler.
And then you waited 10 minutes to actually say it. You gave the 3, 2, 1, and so people that are skipping the 15-second thing are like, okay, surely he said it, but then you rambled on for 10 minutes.
I'm covered. But I want to get to my point. Let me get to it. And so, allegedly, Tyler has the veto, pulls down Scotty. Chris gets put up.
You just gave all the fucking spoilers that I told you not to give.
And so what happens now? And I just got into a Twitter discussion.
This is why we get all our Christmas presents a week before Christmas.
At Thanksgiving. But so I had a fellow Atlantean tweet me back because I'd commented on the Big Brother feed that
is it a friend of ours?
That Chris was gone. No, she's a big Philadelphia Eagles fan. Yeah. She seems really cool. I think her. Well, I don't want to say her Twitter handle in case she wouldn't want it out there, but
okay.
She said she likes our show.
Okay, sweet.
But she was mad at me because
thank you, Eagles
I
fan.
dropped a dime on Chris
because you fucking spoiled it, probably.
No, she was following the same thread I did.
Okay.
But what I said was that Chris played too hard, too soon, aligned with bad players. But that's what happens when you play too hard too soon. You don't know how good everyone's going to be. So
season 18, Josiah.
You're very probable to align with bad people. Chris is a very good player. He's very physically capable of winning comps.
He can do.
But I hate the eyebrow. That drives me insane.
Is that intentional?
I mean, no one can say for sure. It looks like it.
I thought I saw Bailey giving him shit for it. Like, are you Vanilla Ice?
Yeah.
Or crisscross?
I love Bailey. But,
yes.
So, the gossip is supposedly Chris handles it. You know, Bailey kind of keeps him under wraps. Bailey does a great job of talking to Caitlin about it. And my point is that my prediction is that Chris is gone. I've said that from the jump. I called that he was Josiah 2.0.
Well, yeah.
But he started working.
And everybody knew that they were going to try and backdoor him.
Oh, yeah. You have to backdoor players.
Yeah, because you can't. Yeah, right. He would win the veto.
Yeah. And
did he get to compete in the veto?
I don't know. I don't remember. But
we'll find out when everybody else does.
My point is Caitlin is very an easy prey to be manipulated. Whoever will give her the attention can manipulate her.
Yeah.
And I said he was gone, and 2 minutes later, I'm reading the thread about his conversations with her, and he's already working her. And so if Chris saves himself somehow this week and convinces her to flip again somehow, even though she can't vote unless it's a tie, but it's very possible that it would come down like to a 6-6 vote, and she'd have to break the tie. That would be one of the most epic saves, and I'll eat my own dick. And I'll have to, because I said Chris is gone.
Yeah.
So I made that promise.
So that's where my argument was in my head of, okay, whoever wins the veto, if they're on the other side of the house from Chris and Bailey and them, in my head, I'm like, okay, you take down Scotty, and then you don't blow your cover of Winston's the target. But then you also have the campaigning of, like, you know, get him out. You still have that split. But if you took Winston down, then it's like, oh, fuck. You still got two people from that side of the house up there. You know, so.
But Scotty's way more expendable, you know, to everybody.
But he's less of a threat.
Is the argument. Yeah, he's no threat.
So that's where, like, I mean, I agree with what he did, but
I think it's their only choice. They have the numbers in their head. They have the numbers.
Yeah,
and they're still trying to keep under wraps for sure that Sam still has her power. It's good for 4 weeks, and Tyler has power,
right,
for up to 8 weeks.
They're all over the place with guessing about the power thing. I was dying laughing about that. Where, like, somebody was like, "Oh, it must be expired because they expire after a week." It's like, no, they don't. Even if you watched last season, that temptation thing would last. I mean, what Jessica's lasted until, like, right before jury or something.
Tyler's
like,
is good for 8 weeks.
Yeah, right.
Up to 8 weeks.
Right. I mean, so since when do these kind of things expire? And you never. Sure, some of them could, but it's Big Brother. They change the rules every second.
Yeah. I mean, my girl is still solid. I stick with Casey. No one ever mentions her name, and that's how you play.
No, I was watching it earlier where someone said, why wouldn't you replace him with somebody like Casey or something?
That's just being thrown out there. No one's plotting about her gameplay. No one's saying
they weren't
she's a threat.
Yeah.
Tyler.
But it was the first time I heard anybody even mention it. I was like,
she's laying in the cut like a champ. Yeah. And so, I mean, I'm just saying I stick with her.
I
see your point. Tyler's a great player. He's blown my expectations. I expect him to be dog shit. And he's definitely not. And
you were judging a book by the cover on the premiere,
and I was crazy eyes.
Right. I was seeing the layer deeper of, like, he's going to use his beach bum looks to make everybody think he's stupid, but he's a lot smarter than he looks, kind of thing. And he is.
But some of these players are so bad. And then you've got some that
like
are
Fessy.
So good. Man, he's bad. He's bad.
He's dumber than a bag of rocks, I think. I mean,
him and Caitlyn are a match made in heaven, though. Those two just sit there and convince each other of...
No, they can't.
Insane.
They can't be together. They're both too...
No, I know. But I'm just saying it's fun. It's comedic gold listening
It is.
to him.
I mean, he seems like such a sweetheart, and he's so cute and big.
Big dude.
So, me likey. But, sweetie, he's so not super smart.
No, I mean, I feel like those people on Chris's side, that alliance, whatever they call themselves, Faute or...
Faute. That was Caitlyn's name, too.
Yeah. If that's their name, that alliance needs to cannibalize itself and try to split the other side and create new ones. If they're smart, in my opinion. This is just my opinion as Big Brother fan. They've got to start. It's time to abort ship unless Chris saves himself this week, which I will give him all the credit if he does. I don't think he will. Tyler's too dead set on him going home, and Tyler hasn't even announced he's got that power. I mean, you can lose that for leverage for votes. To be like, I can get myself in all kind of trouble because I can get off the block no matter what. So you need to do what I'm saying. And he can always win HOH again, so he can compete next week. So I won't use any other spoilers or give any other ones. I'm
just going to put in the notes that just don't fucking listen to the beginning until whatever minutes if you don't want spoilers for Big Brother. Because it's pretty much the whole thing.
But you should want them, and you should want me to give them to you. But other than that, this week, I feel bad for Bailey because her and Chris are in a legitimate, ridiculous, always a killer romance.
They fell in love in like 2 days.
Yeah, and it's not like the Jess and Cody thing, only because they like jumped on grenades for each other. Jess and Cody? Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were both willing to give up their game for each other.
Yeah.
Right away.
And they're getting married now.
Yeah.
Which is the fairy tale ending. And
I like
awesome.
Bailey a lot, so I'm hoping, even if Chris goes home, that she's able to get herself comfortable and save her game.
Yeah.
For one, she's from Atlanta.
Yep.
She seems awesome. I feel like Chris has hurt her game a little bit, or they, as a couple, have hurt each other's game because they're, it's just, I don't know. It's just rule number one. Don't do a showmance. Fessy's in a ticking time bomb of love triangle still.
Yeah, so that
is funny.
He about kicked Caitlyn to the curb and was like, "Get out my face, midget." And then she won the HOH. He's like, "Hey, girl. Hey." All up in her shit, hanging out, doing like beauty masks and shit. Like, I'm like, you didn't want to hang out with her at all. And she was fucking up your cock blocking your game with Haley. And then she wins HOH and you're like you're not smooth is my point.
No, it's
Which
not.
is, again, like I said previously, not super smart.
No, well, it's never smart. You should have seen that a mile away, that Caitlyn is stay away from me material. She's crazy.
Talk about crazy eyes. Yeah, I mean, but like I said in the previous episode too, I hated her. Mm-hmm. Couldn't stand everything about her just because she seems so fake and just so blah, like annoying. But I gave the disclaimer that she also, like, there's something about her that I feel like she could win me over, and I don't hate her anymore. Mm-hmm. I like how she was the vote to get Steve out. That was gangster. Mm-hmm. She's at least smart enough to realize that side of the house, like her whole strategy on that, where she was like, I'm by myself. I thought I had Fessy. He's with Haley. Why would I want to vote out Sam, who's another like single loner person, because she had the robot punishment. So her logic behind actually voting Steve out and being with the other side of the house was perfect. I mean, it made total sense. So, and when she won HOH, that was the perfect time because she had just, she's kind of playing both sides of the house, and all her conversations with everybody were very convincing about how Winston's the target to the other side. But
she's too swayable, though. She's not reliable.
Absolutely.
I could totally see her being convinced to flip back.
Absolutely.
And Fessy could make that happen.
And even the evicting Steve, it's like when it happened to be Winston that was coming out of the room when she was coming in, because she was still so conflicted, and she asked him, and you can see it on TV, she's like, what do I do? And you before Winston walks back out to where everybody else is, he says, vote to evict Steve.
Yeah. Well, a little nugget, because it's not a spoiler alert now, that Tyler had told all of them that if he wore his hair down to the eviction, they were voting out Steve. If he wore it up, they were voting out
Sam. And he wore it down. Yeah.
But
Caitlin was still conflicted, I guess, when she went in there. But
she's the most smartest. I mean, I hate this HOH competition because it's so based on luck. The stupid ball pitch that they did.
Oh, for sure.
Like it's such a.
There's not much
whole lot
skill
of skill to it.
It's almost like because everybody that's like super athletic and stuff just blew it off the charts.
They shot it over the whole thing.
Yeah, like Swaggy's was in the next room, and pretty much everybody's. Caitlin just didn't. It was just like yeah, and just like barely got it off the end of the little ramp thing, and it landed and happened to land in one of the ones that was the highest amount. So,
yeah, I'd just rather it be.
But they gotta have those kind of competitions.
Or a real physical comp. I mean, that's just me.
But I think those are good to have in there because then it doesn't. There's not a true advantage.
Well, I mean, the Big Brother should be either physical or mental, not lucky poo. But I'm not the producer, so
that's technically a physical one. But I mean, it's
not worth arguing over. I think it's a shit competition, and if you don't, I'm filing for divorce.
I like that.
That's all there is.
I think one of my favorite ones is this. The bowl arena.
That one takes some skill. You got to be able to
coordinate
it after you spin.
Are you kidding me? I would throw up.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Spinning in circles for 10 times and then having to bowl. I mean, yeah, I can bowl, but not after spinning in circles.
We're excellent bowlers. We would dominate that competition.
But
yeah, I mean, I think that's all that we've got on Big Brother. It covers everything.
Yeah, it's a fucking lot that happened in a week, though. But it feels like, I felt like Tyler's HOH was the longest ever.
Yeah.
It felt like 2 weeks, but it was 1 week.
It's going to start going quicker now. That first week's always slow, and then, now it'll be boom, boom, boom. But my prediction is that Chris will be gone. We'll see. We both still stick by our picks at this point.
Yep.
We're both good on those, so
yeah.
I guess all we've got now is to wait and see.
Yeah,
we'll
see
ruin some more shit for y'all later.
Yeah, so when's the next episode of Big Brother? What's today? Today's Monday. Wednesday. All right. Yeah, cool. And then we talked to Richard Tillman Friday.
Yeah. And we'll cover that in the outro that we're about to record.
What?
The outro.
We're not doing an outro.
We have to, because I didn't get to say go fuck yourself. We can't end an episode without go fuck yourself.
Why don't we just do it now?
Because then it's an intro, go fuck yourself. It needs to be the last thing they hear. And we've got the Priory Society coming up next. So now we got to go to the ass end of the recording.
Sure. Okay. I got you. I thought we did it last night, but I don't remember.
No, we just hung up with them.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Well.
Coming up next, a couple of old swingers.
Yeah. Enjoy.
Gonna lay the pipe to you.
Sexy time conversation.
Maybe take your lady. Holla at them.
Holla.
But check them out and enjoy.
Enjoy.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to Married AF. We got a very special episode tonight. Got some special guests that we haven't known very long. We found them via Twitter, and they're awesome. Haven't had a lot of time to promote this episode, but I have a feeling it's going to be our biggest already, just from the outpouring.
This is our listeners. This is
their wheelhouse.
Going to be right in y'all's lane.
And so we have the Priory. Is that how we say it?
The
Priory Society.
Yeah.
That's a hard one to say the first time. We've been going back and forth for an hour. Like, is it priority? Is it like priority?
Is it priority? Like, you got to do it fast?
Exactly. Like, we're number one.
And, so this is Eros and Isis. Thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you for having us on.
Pleasure. Thank you. Good to be here.
Absolutely. We're going to start with our traditional shot here.
Our brand new tradition. All right, cheers,
this
baby.
gross green liqueur and vodka. So if you guys would like to join us, let's cheers it up one more time, babe.
Got a drink here too.
Salud.
All right, salud.
Salud.
Oh, it's still terrible. It's as bad as last time.
Green stuff.
We sound so adult, don't we? Like
I am chasing it with a Bud Light, though. So.
Yeah, I'm chasing it with a Michelob Ultra.
Well, for our listeners, we've had like I said, we've only been able to really promote having you guys on for a day, but unbelievable response. And I'm so glad you guys are cool because I know you saw some of the questions. And a lot of our listeners, I mean, they're great people. They're funny, but man, they cut straight to the core. They have no filter.
And we enjoy that.
That's
the way I think have discussion about this, especially swinging and sexuality. You got to be direct.
Yeah, there's no time for bullshit.
Right.
I love it.
Yeah, but and when I was explaining your guys' show to Brooke, besides the fact of what me and Eros were talking about, which is basic hygiene, and we'll get into that. We're both big believers in that. I think we all are.
Right.
But, as soon as I started listening, you guys were, for one, you both have great radio voices, so props to you guys. You sound great.
Yes.
Thank
But
you.
second, it's so chilled and calm, and you guys cover a very, I wouldn't say
Not taboo,
it's not
but
taboo
it's just
anymore. It's just a different subject, and you do it like it's nothing, and so that makes me feel like, oh, cool, this is great. It just the vibe is very good, and it kept me very interested. So,
well, when you're swapping wives, swap husbands, it's always entertaining and it's always a great time as long as people are on the same page.
Definitely.
And we want to share this with your listeners. And I understand they submitted a lot of questions, so we're ready to flow with it however you want to get that information about swinging lifestyle out there for you.
Well, absolutely. Well, the first thing I wanted to cover, and I know you guys have listened to some of our episodes, but really at our show's center, if we had one, it would be that we love to fuck as a married couple. We're huge on it. Yep. We have a minimum, and we've shared it with our listeners from the jump, that we're at least 5 times a week. That's no bullshit. We're not trying to be cool, and we're both on board with that. I mean, it's just us. We're not swingers, which there's no problem with that. We're fine with whatever anyone likes, but we love to get down. And so I think we all share that, but I was interested in your thoughts on how important sex is in a relationship and marriage. Good sex.
Oh my God, it's huge. And
That's what she didn't say.
my husband. No, my husband is plenty for me, trust me. But I mean, good sex in a relationship, I think, is huge. There are so many relationships that fail because they lack intimacy and they lack that physical connection with each other, especially after time when things get stale. But we all know that men and women, they're always looking at the opposite sex when you're out there, but then they do it behind their spouse's back.
Yeah.
They don't let on, or they try to do like a side eye or, a little glance quickly and hope that nobody noticed. But, we're all sexual beings. And that's just kind of how we were designed. That's Mother Nature. And so it's, it's about survival in a way, but we're all looking at other people and we're all horny and sexual beings that want that satisfaction. So, yeah. What did you want to say something?
Yeah, well, also, if you take a look at the divorce rate out there, depending on who you ask, 40 to 60% of marriages end up in a divorce. Financial reasons, sexual reasons, whatever reason hit them. But you also have to look at the fact that sex, if they're not getting it at home, people crave it. So masturbation can only take you so far.
Right.
And then all of a sudden that secretary is going to start looking real good when she smiles at you and says, "You going to happy hour tonight?"
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, I'll take you to my van.
That's absolutely
Sex is
right.
very important, guys. And I think we agree with you in terms of that sex is super important in a relationship.
Well, I mean, it can. We've got a lot of friends that you can see it, that they aren't even comfortable talking about just sex in general, right? And that's kind of what we want to highlight, that, you know, you got to talk about it with your partner. You got to be able to
especially with
speak
your partner.
on it.
You don't necessarily have to be as comfortable talking about it out in the open as we are necessarily,
have
but
a show about
like
it.
at least be comfortable talking to your spouse about it, because I feel like all those other problems that people claim end up being the demise of their marriage, whether it's like money problems, whatever. I feel like all that shit we can get. I mean, because we are so close and we know there's nothing that's like, there's nothing else that can come in between us. All the other shit, like, we can get over it, but it's at the core, it's because like we have that intimacy and that closeness. Yeah. I mean, it's not just about being horny necessarily. It's like, for me, I think Randall too, but like, it's more like the true intimacy and being close, and it brings like trust and all that shit.
Yeah, and we've both been divorced once. I don't know about if you guys have or not, and you don't have to share that if you don't want, but you know, so I agree with what you're saying. Marriages is a crapshoot, and we've both come from, you know, marriages that we weren't, you know, they're not bad. Neither of them were bad people, but I don't think we were able to be our true selves.
Well, that's exactly right. Yeah.
You know, in those marriages, so that makes a huge difference.
Big time, especially if you think about, you're trying to make a good match with someone else. Think about it from a swingers perspective. Yeah. We're looking for couples, and now we have to find a 4-way match.
I can't even.
It's not enough to find one person to get along with. Imagine 4 people in a room. So it can be tough, but it's also very rewarding. And we do want to shed some light on the process and the logistics.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and that's where my very first question for you guys, you led right into it, is, are you guys, and I please don't take it wrong if I ask a question wrong or use the wrong terminology. I totally apologize. I just don't.
Not at all.
Know at all. But so, is it okay that, like, if Eros just wants to get some strange and he goes out, can he go out and score, or do you guys have to be wingman, wingwoman together? It's a two for one. Like, it's got to be both of you.
Okay, so yes, I would be okay with my husband being out with another female and me not being involved.
I'd also be okay if my wife wanted to go play with a man, but we have a caveat there.
Yeah, wow. I mean, I do think that's hot, and I find it very, very fascinating. However, we prefer to meet couples 2-on-2. That's our favorite thing, is connecting with a married couple that has an awesome connection with each other. They've been married for several years, that have kids, because they typically have a lot to lose. They're solid in their relationship. They've worked through all their bullshit. And if they are trying swinging and they are trying to get into the lifestyle, or they've been in the lifestyle, it means to us that they have a level of trust with each other and a level of communication with each other that kind of gets rid of the drama. And they're just in it to make friends for the sexual experience, and they're in it for the fun. There's not going to be any kind of drama there.
Now, when you talk about hall passes, we will do a hall pass, but only with a couple that we've already played with before. We trust. I know where that fucker lives.
Yeah. There you go. There you go.
There it is.
You got a DNA sample.
Yeah, I know where I can go. I know where I can find that dude if need be, but the level of trust has to be there. So we don't make a practice of doing hall passes. A lot of couples do that. It's something that we like to enjoy together. So same room, sex, separate bed is fine. We enjoy separate room under the same roof in the same house, or maybe a hotel suite with 2 separate rooms. We like that too, but we generally play together, because the getting off on watching your partner, getting up against that jealousy that is not really a jealousy of rage. It's a jealousy of turn on, like, my goodness, I know my wife and she's pleasing that man, and that man's wife is doing his best with me. So watching each other is also very hot.
Wow. Y'all's level of confidence is like super impressive to me, because even just hearing y'all talk about it, I got like this feeling in my stomach, like thinking about like I don't think I can handle it.
Well, see, it makes me feel like you guys are smarter and better people than us, and let me explain why. Because the level of security both of you have to have, like, and this is an honest to God truth, statement. I was thinking of this actually when I was getting a shower, which is weird, but I was like, you know what? If I'm being honest, they're better people than us. And then I was like, you know why? Because they're so secure with themselves that that's okay. Where I'm such a clearly either insecure or something to where, I guess it's a mental thing, but
we're both a little insecure.
Props to you guys for that. But also what Isis said is, and I'm sure that speaks for both of you, is pure genius. How you were saying, like the married couples, things that makes total sense. I've never thought of that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And we're married. We've been together for a long time, for 13 years. We have a boy. And so we already had a very deep connection. And we found that, couples that get involved with the lifestyle, whether it's swinging or not, and there's a spectrum of play levels, and we'll get into that in a minute, the lifestyle spectrum under an umbrella. But we consider ourselves swingers because we like to swap with our couples. But we found that once we got started in the lifestyle, our level of trust and communication just went through the roof. I mean, we got so much stronger. Yes, we did. We got so much stronger as a couple because it's even more a reassurance that you know who you're going home with at the end of the day.
And no one's going anywhere.
Exactly.
Because I get more pussy now than I did before. Why would I ruin it?
Oh, yeah. Same here.
That's such a good point.
I ever did when I was single before I met my husband.
That's so funny. Yeah. So y'all, how long were y'all together before you started this lifestyle? And then like what made y'all go into
Okay, I'll take the blame for getting started.
All right. Yeah, let's hear it.
Nice.
We were together for about 12 years when we kind of started fantasizing and talking about, hey, what about, doing a threesome? I told my husband, I finally told him that I wanted to experience other women. I was curious about being with chicks.
And I was like, shit.
Hell yeah.
And you were like,
God, no, please don't, honey.
Pinch me. I'm not.
Yeah. So, we would sit at home and we would play this game called Sexy Truth or Dare. It's an app on our phone that has you put names in and it has you do like sexy scenarios.
Right.
Like where was the craziest place you ever fucked? If you want to talk about,
but we never pressed truth. We always pressed dare.
Yeah.
And it would say, go to the so-and-so, go to the bathroom. John, take Isis to the bathroom for the length of 2 songs or 10 minutes, make out and come back and report to us what you did. And then we'd sit there and make things up because we would just us daydreaming and fantasizing.
Yeah. And then I realized the more that I drank, the more I expressed that I actually wanted to experience another man. Like at the end of the day, I want a man, right? So I became more comfortable letting my husband know what my real fantasies and desires were. And so we've just fantasized and talked for months and months and months. And then, we finally decided, you know what? Our thing is meeting couples. We'd met single chicks and tried the unicorn thing, the third female in the threesome. And that was cool. Some of it was fun, but then a lot of single chicks had a lot of drama in their life.
Right.
Like they wanted to have their rent paid and their cell phone bill paid. It's like, well, I could get sex a lot of places for free.
Without having to pay a cell phone bill or your rent.
Right. So then we found, we went on some dates with other couples and we found a couple websites like Cassidy, and we started meeting couples that way and getting into lifestyle clubs. There's one in particular in downtown LA called Club Joy. That was our first experience at a lifestyle location.
And it's a regular club, by the way. You walk in there, you bring your own beer because they don't have a liquor license. Right. It's a legit club in a warehouse in downtown, but it's built out beautifully. And you know that everyone there is open-minded. So not everyone is a swinger there. Some people just like to be around the environment.
So I say, what if somebody's just like strolling, let's try this club, honey. Rolling in, they're wait a minute.
It's kind of hard. It's difficult to stumble into it because there's no signage.
There's no marquee on the front.
And you have to know where you're going.
Okay.
Heels walking into a brick building.
They want to avoid that, like the randoms coming in there. Probably. purpose.
No, but so my lady started expressing, well, I like chicks. I want to try chicks, but I'd also like to try some guys. And then we started talking about our ex relationships.
Yeah.
What was the freakiest thing you did with your ex? Where's the freakiest place you had sex with your ex? And then I'd start getting a little pissed off.
Right. You're like, well, we're going to fucking top that shit.
And then so our sessions started getting so amazing.
Yeah.
Because we were just fantasizing about what if, and then all the people we'd met at church,
yeah,
out at the gym, we'd start incorporating them into our fantasies. Like, oh, what about that one girl, so and so, and her boyfriend? Would you fuck him? Oh, I'd fuck him.
Yeah,
so it's all the fantasies got to a place to where we were ready to go live. And then I'll tell you about our concierge doctor and what he did for us. But oh man, but I'll stay on point with your questions because I understand you have plenty of them, and I want to make sure we get to them.
Yeah, it's almost like you guys slowly broke down the mental barrier, from listening to you, like piece by piece, because and I hate to get personal, but we've said everything's on the table to talk. But so the first time you saw your wife with another guy, is it easier now than the first time? Or
it is. It's easier now. And I'll tell you what, the first experience we had was with a couple that took advantage of us because, and we talk about it in our own podcast, Priory Society podcast, episode 4. This couple took advantage of us because we were newbies and they separated us, which is something that should never be done to newbies. Mm-hmm. I couldn't see my wife. She couldn't see me. So we each went beyond our boundaries. The girl was fingering her in the bushes and she was sucking my dick, wanting me to fuck her bareback in the bushes. And then my lady, I don't know what she was doing. So it was a bad situation, not a good situation for newbies. Well, watching them make out in the beginning was awesome. They were on one side of the courtyard, a patio of a restaurant. And they were on one side. My wife was with the man and I was with his chick. This hot
she's
gal.
Beautiful, yeah.
Oh, and she was there ass up. And we describe it all in episode 4. But watching her gave me a raging boner. And then after a while, I thought to myself, I don't give a fuck what my wife is doing because I have this foreign pussy right here.
Right?
And not foreign
New
as in
pussy.
from another land.
New pussy.
But she was
strange.
But I'm Mexican. But this wonderful woman here. And it's all consensual. Everyone agrees. Mm-hmm. And see, that's the biggest thing with when we say consensual non-monogamy. Monogamy is kind of, we're not, as humans, we're not truly built for like that one person forever type thing. But because we're highly sexual and charged as spiritual beings, having physical existence. But when you talk about consensual non-monogamy, is that non-monogamy is happening out there, but they're cheating. Consensual means everyone knows what's going on.
Yeah,
that's what makes it beautiful. No one has to cheat ever because my wife wants to fuck. That means I'm going to get to fuck too. It's amazing.
Yeah, and if you want to fuck, I know about it because it's going to make me horny, and I'm going to get pleasure from knowing you're getting pleasure.
The replay of the events and the reconnection sex takes you back to those caveman days. Like that motherfucker was fucking. Let me show you how I do it because that fucker was temporary. I'm your man.
Yeah.
Let me get that.
You're always going to one up the strange.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let me make it raw.
Yeah.
Well, see, that was a question from me, so I'm going to give you one actually directly from me. I was wondering if this lessened the amount of sex that you guys have together, or how much you want to have together, or has it increased that number?
It's increased the number for sure. I mean, when we got into the lifestyle, we decided to go live with our fantasies. I mean, we started having our own fuck sessions that were like 2 and 3 hours, like when we first met.
Those sweaty sessions that last a long time, yeah.
Yeah, like when you're wondering, hey, are you going to finish or what?
Yeah.
You know?
Right, you're like, hang on, I got to pee. We got to take a break for a second.
So our sex got, we had longer sessions, more intense sessions, and more frequent sessions because we would also go out on play dates and then come home or to a lifestyle club and fuck again.
Wow.
And then after we met a couple or had a play date with a couple, we would fuck, and that couple would like fuel our fantasies for several weeks until we met somebody new, right? So
we met them again.
Yeah, or we met them again. Yeah, absolutely. So our sex definitely got better, and we had more sex together.
More intense and more often.
Yes.
Well, do you want to ask our first listener question, babe?
Sure. I think they saw some of these on Twitter. So I'll start with one of Jody's from Twitter. I think I have a couple.
Yeah, this is is it still at Jody B?
Yeah, it's like Jody B 501.
He's the host of Po Boys podcast. He's a great podcaster. He's a funny guy.
I like that name.
Yeah, and he's one of our like podcasting buddies. So he asked how much of the community is normal looking folks versus smoking hot people.
There are actually a lot of good looking people in the lifestyle. I mean, one of the reasons is because, you know, when you realize you're going to be naked in front of somebody else,
right,
you start taking better care of yourself. So you're like, you know what? I have a date this weekend with another couple. Better hit the gym, baby. So there are a lot of really good looking people. And I understand it's all subjective, right? So you can be attracted to different body shapes and sizes, but we find that when we meet people in person, there could be someone who you might consider is like a 5 or 6 or a 7. But once you meet them and you get to know them, you see their personality,
right,
you see their heart, their attitude, you realize what they have going on together as a couple in their relationship, what you guys have in common, that kind of thing. And then all of a sudden their attractiveness goes up and they might be an 8 or a 9 at that point. So it's hard to say sometimes at first glance, but there are a lot of hot people in the lifestyle.
Yeah, and I want to add to that. When you take a look at the people that are in the lifestyle, you will find people that are people love the dad bods, right?
Mm-hmm.
My lady, for example, if you show her a guy that has a 6-pack and he looks like he's unemployed because he works out every day for 4 hours. Because, you know, having a good body takes a lot of work. You got to eat right. And
a lot of discipline. Sure.
Yeah, so she has told me many times that she prefers a guy with a dad bod than a guy who's going to be looking at himself in the fucking mirror all the time, they're having sex or trying to flex his muscles or like, I can't eat that. I have to eat a salad. I brought my own little salad. I can't have food at the Mexican restaurant because it's too much cheese, you know, or some bullshit. What? So she prefers a regular guy, dude who is in touch with himself, has a good sense of humor, and she likes that over a guy who's totally ripped and like you would consider good looking.
Well, have either of you ever had to jump on a grenade so you could help the other one? You know, I hate to say it in that terms, but maybe one that wasn't like, you know, we'll put it in an example, like say the guy for Isis he's a solid 8 on looks alone, and he's got great personality, and then the wife or the woman is a solid 6 or 5 but very great. You know, you ever had to weigh that and then go home and be like, I took that one for the team, honey. I'm glad that, you know, you had a great time, but I jumped on the grenade tonight.
Yeah,
that is correct. We've had to do that in the past, and many couples, if they tell you that they've never had to do that, they're lying.
Yeah,
because it's going to be. We said this in the beginning. It's challenging enough to find a solid 2-way match, let alone a 4-way match.
Sure.
Yeah.
So what happens is that when we talk to couples and we screen them and we have conversations with them, we'll do like a video Skype to make sure they're a real couple if we met them on a website or so forth. Or we maybe met them at a club. We still talk to them and we talk to them individually. So we'll separate them. My lady will flirt with a guy. I'll flirt with a lady and have independent conversations.
Yeah.
During those talks, we're quizzing them. Whose idea was this? Do you have a family? And we're trying to find out whether they're a true couple. Because a lot of people, singles, because single guys are not allowed at these clubs, they'll get either a prostitute or a fuck buddy to join them at the club.
Right.
And we don't like that.
No, that's crazy. That seems, that seems like a dirty game right there.
Yeah, they're looking for a wholesome couple, and it's like, hey, my wife is, you know, a nice gal. Don't fucking pair me up with the gal who you're, you know, paying $50. Come on, man.
Yeah,
you know, at least $100. You know,
at least get a high class hooker for fuck's sake.
But yes, we've been in situations where so if the character is not there, if they're assholes or if they're rude, and we'll test people. How do they treat the wait staff? How do they treat the bartender?
Right.
Do they pull out $1 or do they kick down a nice tip? You know, and we're assessing all of this while we're out on our screening play dates, which we call meet and greets. And we're trying to find out, hey, you know, and we've actually disqualified people. They were beautiful. They looked great. The woman was hot. The guy looked great, but they were dicks or they were liars and we caught them in lies, or they were trying to pretend they were someone else. And it's like, dude, you know what? Be yourself, man. There's nothing more attractive than someone on a mission, someone doing great things, and you're also sexually open and you have a nice outlook on life, right? And so, yeah, we've been in situations where, you know, the chick was not ideal, but I still had a great time, and I still did my best, and I still pleasured her to the best of my ability. And every time that we're in a sexual situation, we take it as a learning opportunity. What did this woman like? Okay, well, I'm going to try that on my wife to see if my wife likes the same thing, and then we replay for each other. And I have my lady say, she'll ask me, so what did she do? How did she suck your dick? How did you, but your podcast is explicit, yes? I can.
Absolutely.
Oh, fuck yes. Yeah.
Everyone knows.
God, yes.
It is definitely explicit.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
Fuck it then. No, but so we'll learn techniques from people. So at the end of the day, you can put people in the friend zone and say, hey, okay, these are people we'll invite to barbecues, but we're probably not going to fuck again. Or these are potential fuck buddies that we can rely on. Dude, let's go to the movies, let's have a nice dinner, and let's go fuck afterwards.
Right.
Nice.
And so sometimes we just call them friends because it wasn't a solid match. So we've had to do that.
Yeah.
Man, you guys cover all your that's impressive. I'm telling you, this is so great for me. I love to just learn about different people, different outlooks, because I think everyone should be able to do whatever makes them happy. We both do.
Yeah.
And this is fascinating.
No, I just love how thorough you guys are. It is, and that
is gangster.
Sounds like we have a podcast on it. Almost.
Something, yeah.
I know, right? I know, right? It sounds like you guys talk about it a lot or something.
Well, the next question that we've got from a listener, and you've kind of covered it, but I want to make sure they know it was read. I believe this is also from Jody. Are there rules? Example, no one kisses or busts in my wife's mouth. Sorry for the terminology.
Yes, there are rules. I mean, not just our rules, but other couples have their own set of rules. So we used to have a lot of rules in the beginning, but that's calmed way down since we've been in the lifestyle. So at first I would say, okay, I only want to do girl on girl, and I don't want the guy to touch me at all. And then that quickly,
that went away
I threw
fast.
That one out the window as soon as I met the first couple where I felt comfortable with the guy as well.
Oh, he was fingering you within 10 minutes.
Yeah, he was all over it. And then, we thought about, okay, well, no kissing, but then I like to kiss. I really love to kiss. And somehow it feels like something's missing out of the interaction if you can't kiss. People think kissing's too intimate and they want to save that for their spouse. So some people have a no kissing rule. We don't have that one anymore. Some people won't do oral. Some people won't do separate rooms. Some people won't do anything without a condom. They like to play safe, and we like to play safe as well.
And some people have a no condom rule. They want to do bareback only.
Well,
and they're like, no thanks.
Not for us.
Yeah, that's scary right there. If they're point blank.
A no condom rule? That's
something they do, and they say it on their profile, and they say, hey, this is what we like. We have recent test results.
Yes, exactly.
And I tell them, I'm like, dude, I have Microsoft 98 as well. I can print that template. Negative. El Doctor Tapatin, in Alpharetta,
From
right?
Tijuana.
Exactly.
Let me add one last thing, is that some ladies will say, I will not kiss, but I'll suck your dick.
Right?
And
I don't understand the intimacy thing with kissing too. Like from Pretty Woman, I'm like, you're having sex with them. Like that's pretty fucking intimate. Like, I mean,
cosmic.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I've got to ask this just because I'm a naughty-minded person, but and I'm sure you guys have ironed this out as you've gotten through your process. It sounds like you guys started off and you just kind of learned trial by fire, but have you ever been in a situation where maybe someone threw a curveball and stuck a finger up your ass and you weren't quite ready for that and surprised, or you've had to have seen it all, right?
Well, we don't. I think people think because we have a podcast and whatnot that we're like the super advanced couple that plays all the time, and that's not true. We say that we've been in the lifestyle for a while. I mean, it's been a little over a year, but we got low miles in the game.
We can fuck a lot, but we choose not to because we're super selective.
Yeah, no, that's so smart.
Yeah, but to answer your question, there have been curveballs. Like, there was a time when a guy stuck a finger in my ass, and I was like, oh, I wasn't ready for it. I didn't know he was going to do it, but then it felt pretty good.
Sure.
But like, no anal is one of my rules. Like,
and she'll say that up front.
Yeah, I'll say, hey, you know what? Use a condom.
Condoms all around.
Don't come inside me. Come on my tits, and no anal. And then if we get to know a couple and there's a certain level of comfort with them and there's a certain level of trust, and then things could change. The rules could change a little bit, but
sure.
For the most part, there haven't been too many curveballs because we make a point of talking about boundaries and what is not okay and what is okay before we engage in play.
It's kind of like when you talk about the people who do BDSM, the 50 Shades of Grey type stuff.
Yeah.
It's called the power exchange agreement or power exchange arrangement. And you lay out your rules right up front. Okay, hey, I'm cool with this. I'm not cool with this. Ask me later about this. So we do that while we're just talking with people at the club and just kind of throwing out conversation. So we already have a good idea what this couple will do, what they won't do. The biggest thing we need to find out from a couple is, are you a full swap couple or are you a soft swap couple? And we can talk about that actually. Right. Why don't you real quick tell them the difference?
Sure. So the main difference between a soft swap couple and a full swap couple is a soft swap couple will do like all the makeout stuff and maybe oral, but no penetration. Okay. No penis inside the pussy. Okay. So in a full swap couple, we'll do penetration and then there are different levels of full swap, like same bed, separate room, that kind of stuff. But a soft swap couple, they might kiss, they might do oral, they might not. But so there are different rules and boundaries within soft swap. So when we're talking to a couple that says, "Oh, hey, we're soft swap," and then we have to know, "Hey, is oral okay? Is kissing okay? Are you just looking for girl on girl action? Is it okay if the guys jump in? You know, that kind of thing."
You don't want to assume ever that because you're talking with them that all of a sudden it's going to be okay everyone's going to fuck everybody. Yeah. Everyone has the rules. And in the lifestyle community, you can go to a lifestyle club and the guys respect the women because the women dominate the marketplace. They are in charge. They decide whether they're going to play or not. They decide the level of play. Mm-hmm. You can go to a regular nightclub or a regular bar and the women will get groped, they'll get touched, and that will never happen in a lifestyle event because guys are so paranoid that they'll get ejected. They're paranoid that the husband will find out or they'll be banned for life. The women will come out of the restroom and the men will just pin themselves against the wall and
put their hands up.
Oh, bless it. Yeah.
And never happen at a regular club. The level of respect is amazing in the lifestyle. That's because communication is huge.
That's a good point. I mean, shit, I can't tell you how many times I've gotten groped, and I mean, the only time I don't is if Randall is standing right next to me because he's a big guy and he'll rip their dicks off. But
beautiful, well said, exactly. Go straight for the dick.
That's my favorite shot.
Just getting rid of the threat.
I've noticed that though from your podcast, and that's if most of the people are similar in any way to you guys, it would have to be a super respectful community. I mean, just from your podcast, I can tell you guys are, super respectful folks and shit. I mean, God, I can't think of anything. I was hoping maybe there was like an opening for something that you guys, oh, hey, y'all aren't covering, but fuck, man, y'all cover it all.
So fascinating. I mean, so there's
beginning here.
Yeah,
I mean, you guys, this is just the tip. Let's play the game.
Just the tip.
Yeah, we used to have a segment on this show called Just the Tip, and it would be our time where we gave like a marriage tip advice. That's hilarious. But who do you have next, babe?
Well, okay, so I have one from Jody, but I feel like they've already kind of answered it because he was asking, have you ever had to deal with jealousy, like if a new partner oversatisfies your spouse? But to me, it sounds like that's not ever real. I mean, like you're going to go home and you're going to.
It's motivation is what it sounds like. They use it as motivation.
Sure. And let me add a little bit more to that. I want a man to work hard. I want a man to satisfy my wife.
Yeah.
If I can sit one out and I can be a little bit lazy and I can do my thing, I want my lady to experience the utmost pleasure. So if a man is really good or if his penis is, larger or thicker or whatever, then I'm thinking that's great because my wife can have a little variety and she'll never have to sneak around and try to find that elsewhere. She has it right here and I'm with the dude's wife and it's all good. Yeah. So I want her to have variety so she can be fulfilled. Right. And I think it's a great thing. Yeah, right.
Yeah. They're so cute.
Because you're my boo.
Yeah, my boo.
That is, I can't argue it.
I know.
I wish there was like a point like you'd be like, but
I know.
That's, I mean, shit, there's nothing, if you cover that where they can't,
Yeah.
She's not going to go anywhere, fuck.
Let me make a disclaimer for your listening audience, which, hey, if your audience is like ours, they're very savvy. They understand. You can't dick around with them. They know, right? They're smart people. So we are not here to convince anyone to become a swinger or be in the lifestyle. Sure. That's not our intention. However, we do want to shed light on the fact that it's the most amazing thing ever that's happened to us and having so much fun in the lifestyle. And it's brought us closer together and our communications through the roof. But also for the people that are out there that are maybe, fantasizing a lot
Yeah.
Or they sit there in their car, or a woman sits there in the car with her dildo, thinking about another man, or what have you, right? There is a way to introduce your spouse to higher level fantasies in the bedroom, and you never have to become a lifestyler or a swinger or anything under the umbrella of lifestyle. And remind me to cover the umbrella and all the different things under it. But you can start introducing it by watching TV shows, by maybe watching some YouTube clips, and just introducing it in fantasies like, would you love another man to be probing your asshole? And you never even have to go live with it, but the fantasy alone will actually bring you closer together, because you're sharing now a different bond that the person feels free to be themselves, and they don't have to repress the needs and desires anymore, because they know that their love of their life is okay talking about it. That's the beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Definitely.
No, that's literally exactly why we wanted to talk to you guys on here. Because, it's not that we were like interested in trying to be swingers or trying to, have you guys come convince some of our listeners to, but it's just that. It's just like, the education of it, really, and just like seeing, we talk about sex and relationships constantly on our podcast, and this is clearly a big chunk of the.
Yeah, no, it's a huge chunk of the demographic of people that have. I was talking to, to Jody before. He was messaging me on Twitter. He's totally vested in this, by the way. He will probably be using. He's also sponsored by Spunk Lube, by the way. Where this episode is brought to you by Spunk Lube. Everyone knows that.
Oh gosh, yes.
And they
this stuff is the shit.
He was like, it's crazy. I can never do that, but this is from Jody, but everyone thinks about it. That was his point.
Yeah.
And so I think people like to have what's the word? Just when you live vicariously through somebody, that this is their opportunity to hear it. And,
We've said it on our episodes that we believe that everyone has swinger DNA within them.
Yes.
Everyone has the potential to become a swinger. Now, you need a couple things. You need permission from yourself. You need permission from your significant other. And you need permission from your limiting spiritual beliefs. Like, is the church going to be okay with this cosmically? Right. So you need permission. And then once you have those permissions, you can literally become a swinger. It's just a thing. It's just literally coming to terms with, hey, honey, are you okay? Would you like to experience more cock? What's her answer going to be? At first, no, never. I love you. Right. But if you make a girl airtight, you have a cock in the pussy, a cock in the ass, a cock in her mouth. They think of this stuff. We question ladies all the time, and their fantasies are amazing. We interview couples all the time about, hey, what caused you to do this? And a lot of times they'll say exactly that. Well, I had certain fantasies that, I can't do just alone. I need two more women or two dudes.
I need some more penises in my vicinity.
I was hoping that one of you guys would cover this. I listened to it on one of your episodes, and I thought it was fascinating for our listeners. I think it was you, Isis, that talked about it, or maybe both of you. But that the swinger lifestyle or community is a lot like high school. I remember listening to that podcast, and you kind of talked about the different people that you'll meet in the lifestyle. Would you mind giving a quick overview of that?
Yeah. So we made a lot of observations in our time in the lifestyle, and
that's episode 6, by the way, on our podcast. Yeah.
So we soon came to realize that being in the lifestyle is just like being back in high school. There are several different parallels. It's a chance to start this new chapter in your life, because most people are getting into the swinging lifestyle after they've been married for about 10 years. The average swinger is in late 30s and has been married for 10 years or so.
Yeah.
So it's a chance to start a new chapter in their life, to spice things up, to discover who you really are, because you're finally allowing yourself to explore your sexual fantasies and your sensual side. And there are different people in the lifestyle, like the cliques.
Yeah.
They're the hot girls and the hot boys, the athletes, the cool kids.
The jocks.
They're the nerds, the jocks, exactly. They're the musicians. There are all kinds of people. And you'll find that when you go to, like, let's say a hotel takeover event where there's a lifestyle party and everybody at the party at the hotel is staying over for 2-3 days, and they're all swingers. They're all in the lifestyle. Not just swingers, but they're all in the lifestyle. And you get groups of people that gravitate towards each other. So when you see 200-300 people at an event, you kind of say, hey, this is kind of like high school where all the friends are hanging out. It's kind of hard to infiltrate people who are already friends and cliquey, and they're partying, and they're wearing costumes because a lot of the parties have theme nights, so they're experimenting with their creative side and getting dressed up, and they're kind of like rediscovering their youth in a way.
And also, when you think about the high school aspect, you have another chance today to do things over. So if you screwed up in high school, and you didn't approach that woman, well, now you have all this newfound knowledge by listening to podcasts such as yours, right?
Right.
Married as fuck.
Married as fuck.
Right, and Priory Society podcast, and you start learning more. Your confidence increases. You become a different person.
Right.
And if you went back to high school with the knowledge you have today, you'd be a very effective mofo.
Gotcha.
Right?
You might actually get that cheerleader that you always dreamed about when you were a senior in high school. Like people are different. They're attracted to different things. And you might find that, hey, the cheerleader type of girl, the jocks, people think they're hot and they're too nervous to approach them. So maybe they don't get approached a lot, and then you're the one that makes the move, and that confidence is very attractive. I find that hot.
Currently in the lifestyle, it's exactly the same way. The really pretty girls, the epitome of glamour and beauty, the 9s and 10s.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. They don't get approached, just like in high school. You got that cheerleader girl.
Yep.
Today it's the same thing, but because you learned already, guys, they've been through middle school, high school. They already know they fucked up. If they didn't approach, it never happened. So now we tell people, you have another chance to make things right. Next time you see that pretty ass girl, that pretty guy, or the handsome man, and you're interested in him, if you're a chick, then this time approach. Don't fuck things up. Go out there because you have a second chance now. And that's what that episode is all about. We kind of do a bunch of parallels, and then we also give a bunch of advice as well.
Yeah.
Well, so I've got a question here also from a listener that kind of ties into that. Have you ever had your feelings hurt from rejection from another couple?
Oh, well, no, we don't take things personally. I mean, a lot of people will say in the lifestyle that, maybe you're not just you're not my cup of tea, because just because you're in the lifestyle doesn't mean you're going to fuck everybody that approaches you and says hello, right? So most people understand there has to be chemistry. There has to be a connection between all 4 people if a couple is going to engage in, some sexy time with each other. So we all know that's hard. And if we don't like a couple, we'll let them down easy. Sometimes we'll leave and we'll find either a tactical way to get out of there, or we'll be very blunt about it and say, okay, guys, we're going to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, we have all kinds of keywords.
Yeah.
We'll start talking about politics and religion. Hey, who'd you vote for? Are you, oh, you like guns? And we know that there are, certain people who hate guns.
So
right.
Then we'll start talking about, ARs,
That is smart.
That's
smart.
funny. That's a stereotype too. I think that you guys, like another reason that we wanted you to have you guys on is that like just because you're swingers doesn't mean that you want to fuck everybody.
That's right.
Right. Yeah.
No,
we're selective. Yeah.
Yeah. And I would think that's the case for most. But yeah, I think that's one of those like old school stereotypes for anybody in that kind of lifestyle, is that like, because you're open to it, you just want to have sex with everybody. Kind of like that, like old school, like those like really homophobic, like old guys that when they find out somebody's gay, they're like, you want to fuck me? You're like, no, I don't.
Yeah, and I would think that there's, I could be totally wrong, but would you say that there are levels to the lifestyle where there's like, part-timers that, they'll try it from time to time, or, and then there's the couples that are full bore into it. How do you weigh that out, or is that even a thing?
It's a thing.
Oh, it's definitely a thing. So we mentioned that the lifestyle was really an umbrella. One way you can describe it is it's in an umbrella of sexually open-minded people that have a different level of interest. On the more innocent side of the spectrum, you've got people that we'll call voyeurs. Maybe they like to be in a sexy nightclub and they have no intention of playing with anyone. They don't want to be touched by anybody, but they might just kind of like to dance kind of sexy on the dance floor and look at people and watch people have sex. Maybe they will have sex with each other in one of the playrooms, but not engage with anybody else. And then all the way towards the more naughty side of the spectrum, where you've got like kinks and fetishes and BDSM, and then somewhere in the middle are the soft swappers, where they will have oral with other people, or the couples will meet each other. You've got soft swap and full swaps. So there's a whole spectrum. You've like I said, the voyeurs, they'll go to clubs. They might have sex in front of other people.
Some people want anonymous sex.
They do, yeah,
and
definitely.
This is part of your question.
Yeah.
That we have a saying in our online profile that says, we party with everyone, but we play with a select few.
Exactly.
And we're not looking to, hey, here's another notch. We want to fuck 3 couples on a night. We don't do that. There are couples, though, that will go to a swing club and they will fuck 3 or 4 couples that night.
Yes.
Or we've seen couples that enter the club, the guy goes one direction, the girl goes one direction, and you find them in playrooms in puppy piles of people.
Yep.
That's what they do.
That was just one of your questions, actually, babe, about how many sessions have you
partners?
had?
Yeah, because it sounds like you guys, since you guys are so selective, I mean, you're definitely not in that category.
Yeah, absolutely not. There are people that love that. And then we go to takeover events, like a 3-day event or a music festival. There's stuff happening. People will literally meet each other in the pool. And before you know it, the girl's making out with the other man. And then the wife is swapped. I mean, we've done that before. We've been in the pool. But in the pool, it's innocent. You're surrounded by people. You're not fucking. You're just making out and kissing and stuff. All that stuff is fine, even if we just met them 5 minutes ago. But we won't consider doing anything else until we have a little bit more of a conversation with them, hang out with them a little bit more. Take a look at their mouth, look at their tongue. I love when the girls start dancing and they're like, yeah, that's my song. They stick their tongue out. Well, I'm looking, hey, does she have a candida overgrowth? I want to see that nasty white shit on their tongue.
Nice.
If she has that, and she doesn't have a nice pink tongue, like all healthy, then I will dismiss her.
Man, you are thorough.
Dude,
we're paranoid.
You're my boy, though, because
I love it.
I look for that when I see people's pictures on Facebook.
Yes.
And they're, posting one of their crazy selfies and they got their tongue out. It's the first thing I look for.
Yeah.
Because I'll be like, nope, that's disgusting. That's a nasty fucker. Doesn't scrape their tongue at all.
Right? It's like they look like they just drank a protein shake.
Oh, yuck.
Well, and that just says something about your overall health too. Like,
well, that leads into me asking you, so what are some of y'all's, I know you've talked about it, but you're, for our listeners that have never heard it, some of your pet peeves or red flags that will tell you guys, like, you'll hit the keyword or the safe word real quick of we're bailing. But other than the tongue being covered in that nasty ass white shit that I agree is disgusting.
So one of my big pet peeves is when I'm looking at a profile of a couple and there are different websites. So it's like the equivalent of like Facebook for horny people, right?
Like
There's
Tinder
a website
for swingers.
Spend a lot of swingers websites, basically how couples will put a profile on and they are able to post pictures and message each other and email each other. So when I'm perving a profile and I'm looking at the pictures, but I don't see any pictures of the guy, that's a big red flag to me.
Yeah.
I want to know what I'm going to get, like what's on my plate. And if I don't see that, I'm wondering, is there even a guy? Is it a couple? Or what are they trying to hide?
Is
if
dog
they don't
shit?
post if they don't post both of them or they don't have full body pics, I'm wondering, hey, what's going on there? Something's missing.
Yeah, he's on the run. He's on the lam.
Well, yeah, I would think that you would also be worried, kind of like how you guys cover in your investigative work and interview process, that they're a real couple, that you could be getting catfished or something by somebody that's really not a couple and they're just bringing along their cousin to pass off to Eros while they're getting with Isis.
Right.
Well, if the cousin looks pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, it's not your cousin, so yeah.
If they're second kissing cousins, then
Yeah.
it might not be that bad. Especially if the girl looks really good. If,
Right.
wearing the typical white girl with the long legs, Birkenstocks, pretty feet, and all that.
Short.
I might be all right.
God,
But
we are so picky. We would be assholes, babe.
Yeah. I'm super duper.
We know too many things to be like, you can't do this.
No, but I mean, it sounds like that's the right place, that's not abnormal in the lifestyle. Actually, after talking with you guys, that it's not abnormal to have a huge list of criteria and to be selective. It's probably...
You have to be selective. You got to be, man. There's an opportunity to have sex every single day. And, people will mock us sometimes. People that find out, close friends, we don't really share what we do sexually with other people.
Right.
When we have close friends and they find out, then sometimes they'll say, oh, so you're going to go and try to fuck. And it's like, you know what? Our life that we live is something you jack off to.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You're on the you're on the internet looking at these chicks. These are girls that, I'm taking care of. Super clean, pretty pussies, real beautiful. And my lady with, a nice hot guy. You're jacking off to that, dude. So stop it. But another pet peeve that's pretty huge out there is people like to be fake. And social media is really good for that. A lot of things you see on Instagram and Facebook, it's the best of people's lives, right?
Oh, of course.
Like, hey, I'm here for my vacation and look at my new truck and whatever. And then so you get on a website and you're looking at pictures, and then the ladies use these soft filters. These phones have these special filters in them that slims your face and makes your chin real small, big eyes. And then you meet them, and they don't look like that. So they have selfie-style pics, and you never really see their body. So the big thing is, look, we're going to meet you at some point.
Yes.
Stop pretending that you weigh 120 if you actually weigh 145. I love that. Tell me your real weight. Tell me who you are. Let me see who you are at the core, right? Show me your sense of humor. Don't be so fake. Don't try to craft this persona, because in the lifestyle, it's not about like, ooh, how much money do you have? Or like, what do you do for a living? Those things rarely come up. It's more of like, hey, you're really beautiful. Can I hold your hand? Or the girl will say, can I kiss you on the lips gently? It's more of that physical aspect. None of that other stuff really matters. So, and people, they want to be so fake. You meet them and they're a different person. We met a couple, and it seems like their pictures online were like 20 years old, literally.
You're like holding up the phone next to them, like, what?
Yeah, you fucked us. You lied to us.
Yeah, and we got out of there. I mean, we'll tell them like, hey, excuse me, we were expecting someone else. You don't look at all like your pictures,
right?
But
y'all are full of shit.
We'll see you guys later. Yeah, we've looked before.
No, that
just seems so weird to me that like if you're putting pictures on a website where you intend to meet these people to have sex, why wouldn't you have, not like unflattering pictures, because everybody, no matter what size, weight you are, can have unflattering angles and stuff, but like, why would you over edit and over filter when you're expecting these people to see you naked eventually?
It's gonna come full circle. You're gonna find out.
Maybe they're just like, I'm just gonna get them really drunk before.
Oh yeah, and you've talked
strategy.
I bet.
Yeah, you've talked about it too. Isn't there a segment of or a group in the lifestyle that are the more into like the drugs? I remember listening to part of that on the episode where you got some people that are just off in another world high.
Yeah. So one of the things we noticed at when we started going to these larger parties and the lifestyle clubs is that there would be people there that they're taking some kind of, substance to alter their state. And they're this touchy-feely, I don't know if it's Molly.
So probably ecstasy, yeah.
Whatever it is. But yeah, they're dancing around, jumping, they're looking at the ceiling, reaching for stars that aren't there. They're high. And they might say hello, but you're not really sure how much they're actually getting from your conversation. Right. If they'll even remember your conversation.
Usually they're not there to fuck either.
Right.
They're just there for the party aspect. We call them the party crew socializers. We talk about it in episode 2, the 12 different times. But
they're like the club kids of this lifestyle.
Yeah. The other thing is that the problem with taking something that alters your consciousness is that now consent is real tricky now.
I was just about to ask you that.
You guys are in California too, right? I think.
Yes. Is this person really fully present? And also the guy, if he's on an altered substance or even just too much alcohol, not going to be able to get his wiener up.
That's a fact.
100%. If he's doing coke, he's definitely going to have a hard time. But if he gets it up, he might go for hours.
Or even just too much booze, like whiskey dick. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what, I find all that fascinating. But for you, since I'm a guy, Eros, is how much would you say it stepped your game up as a polite, respectful man from what you've learned in this lifestyle? Because it sounds like everyone's very respectful and, nice. And do you think it's made you a better dater partner? Like, you've learned a lot more from being in it?
I'll tell you what, yes. The other thing that happens is that your game gets stronger. So your compliments, you have this bank of compliments that are genuine. When I meet a woman or we're with a couple and I'm talking to the woman, I'm seriously looking for the beautiful things that she holds, her eyes, her gaze, and I'm looking to be real genuine. We can't be fake about this. If it's kind of like you get a chance to date again. all the time, every weekend if you want.
Yeah.
And so it really hones your skills. And also, you're in the oral department. When you're sucking pussy, you get really good at it because a lot of people say, look, you got to suck pussy like it's a melting ice cream cone.
Right? Write that down,
you gotta
baby.
Get up
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Do it real good. And then so you practice a lot and you get really good at it, right? And then you start using your finger and you become a better lover. Now I consider myself, my lady likes to call me the Latin lover. And she says it lasts 2.5 hours. It's actually 2.5 minutes, right? But I use time distortion hypnotic techniques. But it actually does make you a better lover, man. So because you get practice and you have different types of bodies. You got this little 115-pound hottie, and then you got another a woman who is a nice full woman, man. And so you get really good at like, okay, well maybe this girl will sit on my face, but I don't know about that lady. I don't want to be in. Let me get my safe word out. My safe word is harder.
Well, so have you guys ever been on a date and I'm picturing it almost like it's a movie, right? And you get out of the car when you get home and it's all over. You drove home together and didn't really say much because you both just had your brains fucked out. And you get out of the car to walk in and one of you can barely walk. And you're both of your hair's messed up and you're like, fuck, man. I mean, is that how it goes? Do you ever have that happen?
Yes, we do. I've had, like especially if we're going to an event where we're going to be there for a couple days, I've mentioned hotel takeovers before, where it's a big lifestyle party and you have 2 or 3 nights at the same hotel, and people are really open-minded. You're meeting sexy couples, and we'll fuck every day that we're there, usually on an average. And at the end of the weekend, I'm like, babe, I got to take a little break, Well,
do y'all like high five though? Like, that was a great weekend. Boom.
Fist bump. Boom.
High five for sure. Celebratory cigars on the drive home. And I'm like, babe, I got to soak in the tub for
the lady parts can get worn out for sure.
Yeah. We high five each other even during the event because a lot of couples
love it.
Are they're really happy to be able to hook up with another normal couple that's sane, that's not weird. And then so we're high fiving the other couple even during the act, or as soon as we're done, they're getting dressed. We're like, hey, good game, guys. It was awesome.
Hell
and then then we'll fuck each other as husband and wife. And then, we'll find another couple the next day if we feel like it.
Sure.
And we maybe we'll do like one couple a day, but other people will do multiple couples a day. But my lady, she doesn't want to have to walk around with an ice pack on her pussy.
Yeah. I mean, good God, what are these women made of that are doing I mean, like, because... I mean,
I don't know.
No, I mean we know firsthand that you can definitely get worn out.
Yeah, and we don't even have multiple people coming up in here. It's just us two. And sometimes if like we have
we have our naked days. I don't know if you guys we talked about that on a couple of our episodes. It's a requirement for us that every month, once in a while, we'll both take a day off work, and the kids will be away, and we're nude the whole day.
Yeah, we'll make
watch
a point
Netflix and just bang our faces off.
Yeah. Just stay naked all day. I'm like, okay, every month we need to take a couple days off, and those naked days result usually in me where I'm like, okay, like it's
usually both of us are a little bit like, let's give it a day.
You were saying last time that you thought you had like rug burn on you.
Yeah.
You're like,
exactly.
Yeah, we were both a little worn out. Well, so I don't even know how those people. Yeah.
We had another question, another listener question. I think that might be the last one, or you may have one more, babe, but. Wanted to know, I got to reword this because it's worded terribly, but have either of you had somebody, which I think it'd be the man, where either Eros, have you ever busted too quickly with another woman and been like, I'm sorry, or have you had a man partner, Isis, bust too soon and you're like, this was terrible?
And now you got to wait around for the other one.
Yeah, how does that work?
I sure have had men that bust real quick because...
Like 2 minutes quick.
Like seriously, 2 minutes quick. I'm like...
Because you're beautiful.
Thank you.
There you go.
Well, that's exactly why. Duh. Why. And then you're sitting there looking at your watch like, fuck, when's it going to be done?
Not done yet. But it... And then, my husband is there on the other bed, like fucking this chick for 2 hours. And I'm like, I'm thinking, how can I keep this guy busy? Because I'm not done yet. So I would like a little more playtime. So I might I might cuddle with him. I'll have him go down on me. Maybe he needs a little time to recharge, and then he'll get going again, or he'll finger me or something. So I'll figure out something to do in the meantime. But if he busts too quick, yes, it is disappointing. But I've kind of learned that not everybody has a lot of stamina, especially if they're really excited because they're fucking another woman that they would have never met, or they find is super hot.
And my lady doesn't make them feel bad either.
No, I would never.
No, that's great that you don't. That's pretty awesome.
I would never talk shit. And sometimes they'll keep apologizing, and I'm like, you know what? There's no need to apologize, because I don't want them to keep thinking about it and get stuck in their head. But a lot of the time, the guy's dick doesn't even get hard. So I kind of realized that it's been about half the time where the guy hasn't been able to perform.
Stage fright or whatever.
It's mentally. I bet it is taxing.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Especially somebody that's new, maybe to the lifestyle. Like you bite off more than you can chew at first, and you're like, "Oh shit, this is real." Nope, doesn't work.
Oh.
Yes. So it's happened way more than I thought it would, but it does happen a lot for when the guy can't perform. Either he gets an erection and loses it, or he can't maintain it and he can't get it hard. Period. Because a lot of guys talk up a good game. They're like, "Oh, my wiener's huge," and
or the wife talks it up.
Or the wife talks. "Oh, he's amazing. You're gonna love him." This and that, and I'm like, "Okay, well, let's see." You know what?
Yeah.
Show me.
Prove it. Yeah.
I bet that's happened so many. I mean, if you just think, just in life in general, how many guys have talked that game, and then if women really said what they were expecting the first time they saw a guy's penis, it would be over for guys. Like, you said you were huge. Your shit is terrible.
Or he's great at oral. He's amazing. His tongue skills. I'm like, oh, he wasn't that great. Like maybe for you, but he's got like one move and that's it. And
get some more moves.
I'm not the same as his wife.
Yeah.
I'm a different woman, and my body has different needs. So I think that...
But my lady takes charge.
Yeah.
You're good at that.
Yeah.
You don't expect the guy to know your pleasure senses.
No.
You start fingering yourself, and you tell him.
You'll be like, here, left, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's empowering. It's empowering for the woman.
Definitely. I've learned to say, hey, this is not working for me.
Don't do that. Yeah.
Don't do that, or that's not okay. Or,
do this instead.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Do this instead. Or I need to change positions, or I need a break. You need your wife and so I've done that. I'm vocal about what's working and what isn't.
I love it.
That's awesome. Well, do you have another question, babe?
No, I mean, it was like, I think they covered the spectrum pretty much like in a general sense of what's under the umbrella. Like, I don't know if there's stuff under there that we didn't think, what's that one? Like furries, like people that dress up like animals, like is that right. I guess would be considered in the lifestyle.
Yeah, sexually open-minded. Anything where people want to explore. And we didn't talk about polyamory. That's another huge one. People, instead of just fucking, they want to get more of a spiritual connection and a soul connection with someone, kind of like a boyfriend girlfriend. You have several girlfriends, and two couples will form a relationship, and they'll take each other's kids to barbecues or to school or to dentist appointments, and they'll start forming relationships.
Like two full couples, not just like the one dude with the sister wives.
Sometimes it's full couples, and they'll actually form kind of like an exclusive relationship,
like a family unit.
They don't date each other, anybody else. I mean, they date each other, but they don't date anybody else, or they don't fuck anybody else. But their families are involved with each other, and the kids play, and they go to we call vanilla events. Any
civilian events.
Yeah, civilian events.
There you go. Okay. That seems more, I didn't know that happened, honestly. Like, that seems more fair, though, than the straight up polygamy, like, with just the patriarch, and then, like, multiple wives. Like, that's definitely more fair.
Everyone enjoys it. Yeah.
Well, is that a fear? And I'm sure every couple's different, but for you guys, have you had where one of your dates, for one of you only, was getting a little too clingy and demanding or anything like? Have you run across that before?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, definitely. We've had experiences like that. I mean, I was approached by the male half at some point on text, because we would, have a kick chat, and then there was one time when the guy was kicking me privately.
All the time, nonstop.
Yeah, a lot, like quite frequently, and getting flirty
But his chick was also messaging me.
Yes. Yeah. But he was doing it a lot, and at some point I had to kind of slow things down. I'm like, you guys are great, but I'm not looking to get a boyfriend out of this.
The other thing with polyamory aspect of it is you take a look at, you have friends and you love your friends, and you'll do anything for your friends, right? You'll bail them out, you'll give them rides, you loan them money, whatever. And so when you fuck someone, not only did you fuck them and your friends, but there's that level of, wow, is this edging towards polyamory? Because I love this person as a friend.
Right.
I'm not going to add them to my credit cards, but I like them and I want to fuck them often. So I'll happily meet them. And, and so you start going on more flirty dates where we'll go out with a couple and we'll sit swapped at a movie.
Sure.
I'll take the chick or she'll take me and she'll say, here, you and me are sitting over here. And, we'll do that and we'll have dinner and then we'll go back and we'll fuck. Whether they come over, we'll do naked hot tub or back to their place. And we get back to their place or they come to ours, and the woman will grab me and say, you and me over here.
Yep, she takes you right away.
Bye, guys. And, we'll go to the bedroom. And so it's not polyamory. I mean, we're not in love, but I respect the woman. She's beautiful and she's hot.
So you have regular couples that you do that with, where you're quote unquote dating another couple, but you're not doing the polygamy. Yeah, you're not.
Friends with benefits.
There are go-to couples.
Definitely.
They're on speed dial.
Okay, yeah.
Well, that's smart. If you're in a, you don't want to put in all the effort of an event or something. You got your Rolodex.
God, the security. And I can tell that you guys are cheering each other on. And it's.
You're each other's wingman is what I think
it
of.
is. You totally are each other's wingman.
Have to be in every aspect. I mean, from tactical training, firearms training, we have each other's back.
Right.
To hey, that couple's nice. Let's go see if we hit it off.
Yeah.
And so in all aspects, and you start developing that as you become more open. If you can talk about how was that guy's dick? Was it good? Did you enjoy it? If you can talk about that, then you can certainly talk about really anything.
That makes my stomach hurt thinking about Randall.
You could talk about anything after that. Who's
no
gonna
secrets. There's no secrets.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, I wanted to make a point before we had to wrap up that you guys could tell, because I was trying to think how to explain it, but how would you put into words what y'all's the goal or the mission statement of your podcast is, the show?
There you go.
Okay, so we started the Priory Society podcast because we really wanted to give back to the lifestyle community. And we have gotten so much from it. Our relationship is stronger. Communication is better. There's more trust. And we have so many sexy experiences and made all these great friends. And you really can't talk about it with people in your normal life, in your everyday life, because it's a secret society. So we wanted to kind of welcome people in the lifestyle or that may be curious about the lifestyle into this society and let them know, okay, hey, you know what? This is a brotherhood, but it's okay because we accept you. You're respected. You're welcome. You're not weird. You're not the only one that's had this fantasy. You're not the only one thinking about this.
The women have the power here.
Yeah, the women definitely have the power.
Yes.
I mean, women make the decisions. So we wanted to kind of share our experiences in a way that we can bring learning lessons to people, because we made a lot of newbie mistakes and rookie mistakes in the beginning, and we want to help save people from making the same mistakes. There was no mentor for us when we got into this. We're just learning by trial and error, and it came from meeting people who were catfish or, getting perved online by fakers. And there was just so many things that if we had known what to look out for when we started, we would have had maybe a quicker learning curve for sure.
There are other podcasts out there that talk about swinging.
Yes.
And we listen to a few of them, but there's really two types of podcasts. Hey, we're on a journey, follow us, and this is how we fuck, this is what we did, but there's no real educational component to it.
Sure. Right.
And then the other type where it's like a social lounge, right? Four people chit-chatting about the sex regulations for sex workers. And it's, again, not educational, and they get political and they start screaming at each other. And so we wanted a podcast where we could say to people, look, let's work on your inner game, since we do have a background in hypnotherapy and neuro-linguistic programming and developing unstoppable confidence. Look, this is how you're going to become a better person, the best version of yourself. You listen to podcasts like ours, you get educated. We're not going to turn you out and force you to do this. You're just getting educated, and you're going to decide at some point whether it's something you would like to try. And a lot of people are looking for answers or looking for advice. They stumble upon our podcast, and we get, my goodness, tons of messages.
Oh,
you guys are awesome. Oh my goodness.
Thank you
for this. You saved me this. You've done this. And it's just, that's the best reward ever. For someone to reach out. And just like you guys, I'm sure you get a lot of messages. Dude, you guys made my commute the most fun. Right? Those type of messages. And so it's been very fulfilling. We'll continue to upload a bunch of, we'll do swinger interviews, expert interviews. We just interviewed a guy who talks about the cuckold hot wife lifestyle, where the guy doesn't want to fuck at all. He just wants all pleasure for his lady. And a lot of times they look for black men or bulls. A single male could be a bull. It doesn't have to be a black guy. Or BBC, big black cock. And so we just interviewed this gentleman who talked all about the cuckold lifestyle, stag and vixen, where, hey, I don't want humiliation, but I do want to share my wife. And I'm going to fuck her too while you fuck her. But I'm going to be in the mix. I'm not going to be humiliated in the corner like a typical cuckold scenario. And so he did this whole thing and explained it beautifully. So again, we bring experts in. We talk about our experiences. We're getting ready to upload an episode about our first soft swap experience and a failed full swap where the guy, he burst into tears.
He freaked out.
Oh,
and then he stole my couch.
Bless his heart. Oh.
No, and my chips or the fact that I wanted to fuck his hottie, or my chips. So I'm still both. Both piss me off.
Well, so where all can everybody find y'all? You have your social media, your Twitter, and all that. We want to make sure that gets shared out here to our listeners because I think all the guys that we know are going to be tuning into your show.
Definitely. So our show is called the Priory Society Podcast, and you can find us on our website, priorysociety.com, and you can email us at info@priorysociety.com. We're on Twitter. The handle is @Priory and if you want to get in touch with us, if you have a membership on Cassidy, that's a lifestyle website. We are Latino Sexy Couple there, and we're also on Kick as Latino Sexy Couple. It's a messaging app.
And the podcast is everywhere, from iTunes to Google Podcasts to iHeartRadio.
Yep.
It's in all the platforms. I'm sure just like your podcast is. And you just run a search for Priory Society, a sexy lifestyle podcast, and listen in. We look forward to answering questions. We get questions all the time, and we repeat them on the show. Sometimes we'll reply right there on email with people that have scenarios, and they're asking. The biggest one we get is, how do I convince my wife? And of course, we tell them away, shut up, you don't convince ever.
Exactly.
Right.
Never convince. Yep. The biggest... The best form of persuasion is to have someone think that it was their idea and their decision, but you've been planting seeds all along. So we teach people how to plant seeds.
Yeah.
That's how Isis convinced you.
When I knew that more chicks. Listen, in the past couple months, my lady fucked a neurosurgeon. That guy does brain surgeries, right?
Yeah, deputy sheriff.
A sheriff.
There was a guy that had a construction firm, so he was, a little more rugged and good with his hands.
Yeah.
And then there was a rancher. It was totally hot. He had like thousands of acres.
Hell yes.
Nice people.
Oh, just a ton of different people, very educated. They have stuff going on.
Hot wives.
Yeah.
And these are people that you walk around and you'll see them at Walmart and you probably never say hi, but because you have this commonality and you're sexually open and it's private because you're part of the secret society of swingers, right?
Yeah.
You're part
Do you have
of
like a secret handshake or like a secret hand signal?
Eros has said that. I remember on one of the episodes, there's no secret handshake.
Or like, like when motorcycles are driving by and you like hold your hand down, like.
Yeah, like a Freemason, right? No, we wear black rings. Black ring on the right hand on the ring finger. A black ring immediately will tell someone that they either know about the lifestyle, and then also if someone notices your black ring and you don't want to say you're a swinger because you don't like them, you can say, this represents 21 kills, suicide prevention for returning vets, 21kills.com. You can say that, but if they're hot, you can say, maybe you guys lifestylers too.
Call me. Yeah. I mean, so there's a neighborhood near here, and there's a rumor that this neighborhood is just full of swingers, and there's a on top of Bridgeville. And there's a grocery store that's right near the entrance of this neighborhood, and they're like, if you walk around this Publix with just a pineapple in your shopping cart, and I think it's an urban legend, but does that sound familiar?
Yeah, pineapples on their shirts, on their clothes.
Shut up! Oh shit! I just bought our son a shirt with pineapples all over.
I've got a tank top and that's all pineapples. And my wedding ring is black.
And you're, oh shit, babe. I mean, what are you trying to tell me?
You bought it.
I did. I picked it out.
Yeah.
It's subliminal.
Yep. Wow.
We're going to get a private message from them. Hey, guys, we want to make our first move. What's up?
Yeah, exactly.
Shit.
Hey, there's a lot of freaky people in your parts.
Oh, my goodness,
A lot of
yes.
swingers in those parts.
Oh
Yeah.
god.
So,
Well, yeah. I mean, apparently there's a whole neighborhood of them, and the pineapple thing is real. So
Yeah, I mean,
damn,
and I love it. I wish everybody could be open with what they want to do, but I guess that it kind of adds to the mystique of like the cool factor of it being a secret society type feel, right?
Yes.
Like that kind of romanticizes it a little.
It does, because you're doing something that for a lot of people is highly restricted or taboo. And the conversations you have with sexually charged people are so beautiful because you can be yourself. You try talking about sex at work. Oh, no. Oh, no.
You get fired.
Yeah,
Oh,
you're
exactly.
fired.
Well, yeah, no doubt. I just love
go
how
ahead,
y'all's
that's awesome.
relationship, like how close y'all are, and
I've loved it. I wish we could go on for hours, and we would love to have you guys on anytime you would like to come on.
We'll do it again.
Sure.
We'll do it again. We'll take
Be
another.
back.
We'll take more questions from your people,
Yeah.
and we'll do it again. Why not?
Perfect. Well,
It'll be a pleasure.
we would love that, but I've had the best time. I think you guys are awesome. I
Yes.
hope our listeners enjoyed it half as much as we did.
We had a great time,
Awesome.
too.
Well,
Yeah.
I think go ahead.
The only other thing I wanted to mention was that if anyone is thinking about pulling the trigger and doing something, is that you just have to remember you have to really have a beautiful and strong foundation in your current relationship. Swinging and being sexually open is certainly not a fix for a marriage or a relationship
Right.
that's falling apart.
Yeah.
It can definitely add more drama to it. So it's probably not a good idea. But if you have a really good foundation, then it's something you want to experiment with, then we invite you to listen into our podcast and get some more tips and strategy, and then you can decide later on. But it's been a pleasure here sharing with your listeners
Yeah, it's been
some
great.
insights behind the scenes on being a
Love
swinger.
it.
So I hope
Yeah.
they enjoyed it.
Yeah, we'll get more questions, I'm sure, and we'll reach back out to you guys and.
And we'll put your I'll put your website and your Twitter in the show notes too, so that everybody has a link to that, and then they'll be able to get in touch with you guys through all your other avenues. But yeah, you guys are fucking awesome, and thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, guys.
You guys are great as well. We enjoy
Yeah.
your show. So thank you for having us on.
Absolutely. We'll talk to you
you.
guys soon.
Talk to you later.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Wow. That
I just
conversation
tripped over my chair.
had to blow your tits off.
And
I'm
your
talking to the listeners.
and your dicks. No, my tits are still intact.
Yeah, they were awesome, were they
John,
not?
did they blow your tits off? Didn't?
So hopefully you guys enjoyed them as much as we did. They will interview you and possibly fuck you
Yeah.
if you pass the test.
If you pass,
They
They're
do
good.
have a rigorous.
I love it.
Yeah, that
love
should
it.
be. It's
So
the only way to
smart.
do it. Yeah, they
I'm-
learned the hard way.
I'm
As you can
actually-
tell, they learned
Yeah.
through trial and error and
I'm a little-
baptism by fire.
I'm a little relieved to hear how thorough they are
No,
and how.
absolutely. It's
Yeah.
great.
I mean, I'm sure there are people out there that just fuck at everything that moves, but I mean, clearly they're
Oh yeah, probably
much.
got the warts of genitals everywhere.
Those other people, yes. I mean, but yeah, they're Eros and Isis are
Yeah, so
the jam.
check out their podcast too, and Brooke will put all their contact info in the show notes for you guys, and let us know what you thought of this episode.
Please.
Do it now.
And what do you have to tell everybody, babe?
I'm gonna make a Philly cheesesteak,
No, that's not what I was talking about.
but in all seriousness, folks, be nice to each other.
And
Go fuck yourself.
yeah.
Yeah.